What's good, YouTube? Back with another video. So today I'm doing reaction to Nick Fuentes. Fuentes, if I can pronounce his name. Talk about Jews, women, and blacks. Right. I don't really pay attention to Nick. He be popping up on my Twitter sometimes. I guess he just be like saying shit. Let's see what he's talking about, though. Let's see what he's talking about. Let's see if I agree or not. Let's talk about it. Let's see what the chat say. What's going on? What's going on?
Is that it was a joke, okay? I want to come to something else you said. This is where you talk about Jews, women, and blacks. Let's just take a listen.
They're always coming up with, no, it's not the Jews. No, it's not women. No, it's not blacks. It's actually really complicated. No, it fucking isn't at all. Jews are running society. Women need to shut the fuck up. Blacks need to be imprisoned for the most part.
That's crazy.
And we would live in paradise. It's that simple.
No, that's simple.
Okay. Would you
All right,
like...
so I'm a comment on that. I'll agree with him to a certain extent. I mean, based off of what's going on right now with politics and what's going on in war, you can say Jews control everything. You can say that, especially with the military in Israel. What's going on in Israel? Not saying Jewish as a whole community, but the Israeli Jewish, yeah, he can say that. I don't get what he mean by women need to shut the fuck up, and I don't understand that. I do agree to a certain extent with the women's situation that yes, sometimes women can be too much, and they do too much sometimes. The same thing with men. Men can do too much, and but I don't think anybody should just shut the fuck up. I don't agree with that. Blacks being in jail for the most part. I mean, if a black criminal is a black criminal, go to jail. I don't think blacks as a whole should be in jail for the most part. But what I'm getting at is for him to say that, then say we'd be a great place. If that happened, we'd be a great place. Nigga, then why you think Christopher Columbus left Europe? It was all white. It was all white when he left. Y'all, when white people left, they brought over diseases to Native Americans. Diseases, plague, all that shit. The Solemn Witch Trials. The British Reign, the British Empire, diseases, all that. It wasn't paradise. That wasn't paradise. Y'all were still murderers and criminals. Y'all were murdering people, raping people. Damn sure rape. Y'all for sure raping people. Killing, murdering, conquering. What do you mean paradise? I don't get that. But let him explain it.
I'd like to clarify what you meant there?
That's all true. That's 100% true. Everything I said in that clip is true.
Including that blacks need to be imprisoned for the most part.
Yeah. Yes.
But all of them?
No, for the most part.
What does the most part mean? What percentage of American blacks would you like to see in prison?
Whatever the percentages of the murderers, I think.
So,
I think it's 1 in 20 black men will commit a murder in their lifetime. So maybe let's say that 5%.
Okay, so how you gonna tell a difference than 5%? What you gonna do? You gonna just randomly pick one black man out of 20 and send him to jail, put him in prison? You just gonna just naturally do it? You know, oh yeah, you like a criminal, you're pants stacking. Oh, you got a black got the hoodie on, some Skittles and Arizona tea, walking your hood up at nighttime in a white neighborhood. Yeah, you're a criminal. You're a criminal.
So you're talking about black people who murder people?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Well, but you didn't say that.
That's
you just said blacks
blacks
need to be imprisoned for the most part. Mm-hmm. You didn't clarify that you were talking about black murderers.
Right. No, you're right. That's a good addition to that. That's a great point.
You think it's funny or?
Yeah, I do. I think it's hilarious. I think it's totally true.
Do you think a black American would find it funny? You think that blacks should be imprisoned for the most part?
Blacks are my biggest fans. I get high fives all the time. They say, Nick Fuentes, I love your show. They agree with me. And you want to know why? Here's the difference. Black people are the most victimized by other black people. You think black people want to live in the hood and the ghetto and get shot all the time? That's what happens in the south side of Chicago.
Actually, I agree with that. Now, to be honest, in the black community, he's not lying. When you hear people in the black community, especially in lower income areas or ghetto areas, they always constantly talk about how they want to move out the hood. I mean, now I don't know if his biggest fan base is all black. I don't know that, but what he is saying is true. They don't want to live. You don't want to live in ghetto, but but we don't. Let's see what he's saying.
Well, you should come here. I'll take you there. We could go to Garfield Park.
My son went to Chicago
Inglewood.
University for a year, actually, several years ago.
Yeah, that's a bubble. That's a bubble. You think you're in Chicago and Hyde Park? You don't know Chicago. Go a little bit west, see what it's like over there. And I'll tell you, black people agree with me because they're tired of it too. And maybe not most of them, but a lot of them agree with what I say about that because they know how it is. That's why the first thing they do when they make a little bit of money is they go and leave to another neighborhood.
Okay, so what was just remind me.
See, the thing about that is you can't just put. It's like it's hard because you can't just put that on black people. Like you can't just throw that. You can't just be like, oh yeah, you know, it's a predominantly black area and black people agree with me. They don't want to live around other black people. They want to move in a white area, and it's not that black people want to move. Black people want to move in a white area. That's literally not what it is. It's just that majority of safer areas, high income areas, have majority white people in there. My bad. Can't y'all's hear the screen here, so I'm looking left. I'm not looking at the camera. I apologize. But have white people? Y'all have it's a big money gap. Big money gap. So if a person get a lot of money, they're not like, oh yeah, they're not going to a realtor like, oh yeah, they got white people here. Oh, white people live here? I want to move here. No, that's not what they're saying. They're saying, oh, this is a higher income area. Oh, this is a bigger house. Oh, it's safer here. I don't give a fuck if it's a Mexican, if it's an Asian, if it's a white person, Hawaiian. I don't care. We don't care. We care that it's safer. Anywhere you go, poverty-wise, if you go to you go to a trailer park. Yeah, the Hickory, Alabama, Southern Alabama trailer parks. That's not in the city. You know, they want to move out. They want to move to a richer area too. It's crime out there. There's rape out there. There's death. There's a lot of deaths out there actually. There's a lot of murder, robbery, thievery, crackheads, meth heads. But what white people did, and it's smart, they took that ghetto side of them, the ghetto part, and completely removed it from the city. They put that shit in like the country, way out there from the city, so you can't report it. There's no point. Who cares about a small city? Who cares about it? What they did with black people, they kept them in the city. Names up here, you're gonna be in the city. Now the media's there. Now everybody working in the city. Now it looking like, based off of media, we the problem. That's what it looks like. But I get what he's saying. I get it.
Again, the percentage of black men who commit murder in America. What was the percentage you gave me?
It's 1 in 20. 1 in 20.
It's 1 in 100.
No, it's 1 in 20.
No. Less than 1 in 100 black US men commit murder. That's the most up-to-date crime statistics in America.
That's not true. I've seen other statistics. They say 1 in 20 will eventually commit a murder.
So
okay, so what makes his statistics, Nick's statistics, right, but make Morgan's wrong? Like, think about it. Nick didn't even know the percentage. He didn't even know the percentage. He was just like, oh yeah, whatever percentage murder, I guess what 1 in 5, 1 in 20. He didn't even know. He just saying shit. So to say Morgan's wrong, but you don't know what the fuck you're talking about, you're just saying shit, it's crazy to me.
What your rate means
you can't call someone's information wrong or call somebody wrong and not bring nothing back to prove that they're wrong. Just saying they're wrong means nothing.
You're saying that 5 times as many black men commit murder as the official crime statistics say?
Yeah, there's a report, I believe, on X by Data Hazard. I'll have to go and double check that for you. But yes, there's some pretty shocking evidence that says that it's far more alarming than you would think.
Okay, but you would accept that the official crime statistics are 1 in 100? Or you wouldn't accept that statistic?
I don't know. I don't have it in front of me, but I've seen other evidence. Like I said, Data Hazard on X, I believe, produced a report about a year ago. It said 1 in 20. But I mean, whether it's 1 in 20 or 1 in 100.
See, do you see how he added that? He said a data thing on X about a year ago. About a year ago. Then Morgan said, well, no, the most updated one is 1 in 100. That's the most updated one. Hey, bro, come on.
That's a lot of people, Piers. I mean,
Sure,
this is
a lot of white
problem.
people commit murder too.
A lot.
Well, they do, don't they?
Okay, but it's about proportionality. I mean, white people are 65% of the population. Blacks are 13%.
All right.
And I think anybody would tell you that more black people proportionally commit violent crime than white people, and people vote with their feet. People would rather pay a much higher property tax.
Most mass shootings.
What's with the interruptions?
I'm sorry.
Thank you. I appreciate that. You know, you look at in Chicago, in New York, these neighborhoods are so stratified. People would rather pay a high tax rate. They'd rather pay a much higher property value to live in a less diverse.
Why do he go into Chicago and New York? Like, why keep using those cities? If you want to be honest about it, you want to be completely real about it, Nick. Let's start about when America first was being built, or when America first was coming up. America came up, and guess who was controlling the streets? The mafia was. Guess who the mafia is? Whites and Italians. They were doing the crime and shit, all the criminal crime and all that extra shit. They were doing that. It wasn't blacks, it's them. So why isn't a bunch of Italians in jail? Why not calling for the Italians and white people to go to jail over that shit? It's just that shit changed. Time changed.
First, less black neighborhood because they don't want to live around the violence. And I think that when you look at even on the public transit, the subway, the blue line, you know, people don't want to go there because they know who occupies and menaces the public transit. It is these people like Daniel Penny had to deal with. It's people like Irina Zarutska had to deal with. And that's just the uncomfortable reality.
You've also said you don't want to live near black people. Let's take a listen to this clip.
I'm a new generation of white person. I'm not living around blacks. Sorry. You know, I want white kids, and I don't want my white kids bringing home black people to marry. It's racial for me. And
I see that's racist. If he just wanted his kids to look like him, cool. You want your grandkids to look like you, cool. But once you be like it's a racial thing, then it's racist.
Call me racist. Oh, very Christian of you. I don't give a fuck.
I mean, it couldn't be clearer, really.
I mean, that situation, Christian-wise, oh shit, my bad. I keep fucking that up. Christian-wise, you ain't gotta give a fuck. You don't have to. Just tell God that. You don't have to give a fuck. And that's the crazy part about it. You genuinely don't have to give a fuck. You can sit there and be like, yup, I won't live by the vine swingers. I won't live by them Porsche monkeys. I won't live by them moon crickets. I won't live by none of them. Cool. I don't like you because you're black. I hate you because you're black. Cool. I fuck with you. Cool. Then as soon as you go to church, you with your wife and like Charlie Kirk, go to church and shit. You open up that Bible and you read it and it says, "Damn, everybody was made in God's image. Damn, love thy neighbor." Then then what you're doing is you're looking at the Bible pretty much saying, "I don't give a fuck." Okay, that's between you and God. I ain't mad at that one. That's why I say I respect Nick. He keep it in the band. He's telling you how he feels. Keeping it 100.
Unless you want to say that's another of your jokes, but you're basically saying, yeah, I'm a racist, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
You're fine with saying you're a racist?
You okay with it?
Totally. I think everybody's racist. I think everybody, if we're being honest, is racist. I think everybody the only people that aren't racist or pretend not to be are white people to their detriment. Everybody else is racist.
But earlier in the interview, you got aggrieved at the idea that your father was a racist. You wanted to make emphatically sure
my father's.
He's not.
Because my father doesn't share my same views on that.
So he's the exception to everyone's a racist.
Well, everybody's a little bit racist. You're right.
Oh
so maybe
my
everybody.
gosh, Nick, you can't be changing shit, bro. You can't be doing, bro. You can't be changing shit, dog.
The difference is you're attacking my father. You know, he
I'm not
could get
attacking
fired
your
from his
father.
job.
I'm not attacking your father.
You are.
No, I'm not. I don't know your
he's not.
father. And to be
He
clear,
asked a question.
I have no knowledge about him at all.
Yeah, he asked a question. He said, if you're saying everybody, if you're saying, okay, everybody's racist, then you turn around and be like, well, my dad's not racist though. Nigga, you just said everybody's racist. You literally just said everybody is racist, but your dad's not. So what does that mean? Everybody's not racist. I think everybody's racist. I think everybody's racist. People are, I'm not racist. Yeah, the fuck you are. Yeah, you are. You said a racist joke, you're racist.
Well, then let's leave him out of it. Let's leave him out of it if you don't know him.
Hang on, Nick.
Nah,
you put that story into the public domain on your show. I'm simply reminding you of what you told everybody, millions of people, about your father. If you now want to retract it, fine. If you want to say it was a joke, which is what your position was earlier, fine. But I'm allowed to put to you things you've said publicly. That's not unfair. That's not me targeting your father. You put that story about him out there.
You know what you're doing. You know what you're doing.
I'm asking you about a pretty shocking anecdote, which to me looked like you were saying your father made decisions about where you as a family would eat based on skin color of people who worked at these places. If you say, or use them, if you say that is not what you meant, that's fine. You can respond any way you like. The idea I can't ask you about it without you saying I'm attacking your father is ridiculous.
Well, you are, and you know.
Oh my gosh! Look, bro, Nick, if you're pouncing around saying my dad's not racist, my dad not racist, you're putting that out there. All Morgan doing is just literally re-saying what you said. He's asking you, okay, well, Nick, you're saying everybody racist. But Nick, you also said your dad not racist. That's not attacking your father. That's him saying what you said. Like, if you didn't want your dad to be attacked or him in a conversation, why the fuck bring him up? Why bring him up? There's no point in bringing him up.
You're doing, and there's a political culture in America where if you have the wrong views, you get fired from your job. And my father has a job, and if you go on here and say you charge him with racism or something, and I'm put in a position where I don't look like I'm sticking to my guns if I don't say my father's a racist, you're putting him in jeopardy, and he's not here to defend himself.
No, that's not what it is. Shut the fuck up then. That's not what it is. Shut the fuck up. You put your dad business out there. You brought your dad up. You did. Now you put your dad in a position. Now, and this is what I mean with white people doing some victim shit. That victim shit. It's like, well, not white people, but yeah, white people. Yeah, fuck y'all. No, not all y'all. You know what I mean. I'll be technical about shit. The racist ones. Thank you. Okay, so it's like if you in a situation, and you bring your dad up, right? Now you put it's like this lighter, right? If I never talk about this lighter, I put it on my lap. Never talk about it. But I talk about smoking, or I use a torch to light it, or I use some wood fire to light it, right? If somebody come around, nigga, you should use a lighter, bro. A lighter better, or a lighter works, etc., etc. I'm like, dang, bro, like, why you bringing up a lighter? Why you bringing up a lighter? Like, keep it, no, we'll talk about something else. That's how it would be. It'd be different. But Nick brought up his dad, so his dad's on the table.
His views, and it's very low, and I think you know exactly what you're doing, and people can see what you're doing. I'll defend my views, and I think that, so let's leave him out of it. Let's just not talk about my father, because my father isn't here. I'm here.
Okay, well, then do you accept that you shouldn't talk?
Okay, listen,
that's fine. Yeah. But then do you accept you shouldn't talk about your father on your show?
Yes.
And you shouldn't tell...
Absolutely not. Absolutely
not. So
not.
it's fine for you to put a story out there which would make most people who listened to that story or watched it at the time on your show conclude that he was racist. It's fine for you to do that. But if I then ask you about it, I'm the one who's being unfair and I've crossed a line. Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, you're being malicious.
And right there, Nick is full of shit. He's full of shit. Right there, he's full of shit. That's a narcissist ass trait. Full of shit.
Okay, that's fine.
Majorly narcissist.
Listen,
majorly
people
narcissist.
are watching this live.
Yeah, majorly
They can draw
narcissist.
their own conclusions about whether what I just did.
And they will.
Yeah, and I'm sure afterwards, by the way, you'll say, he ambushed me. With your own, with your own words.
Whoa.
Oh, Morgan ambushed me. Oh, Morgan attacking my father. Oh, that's disrespectful. Morgan's low. Bro, no, you're a narcissist. You're a narcissist, bro.
Words.
You're a narcissist.
That's
dog.
a little presumptuous. I'm not going to say it's an ambush, but I think that's a low blow. And I think you know what you're doing, and that's fine. You're a tabloid journalist. I expected that. I don't think it's an ambush because I knew it would be like this. And people will see what you're doing, and I think they'll say it's low. But as far as you want to talk about racism,
I do.
Let's talk about racism.
Okay,
Let's leave my dad out of it.
Look, you've admitted you're a racist, correct?
Yes, 100%.
Okay.
Own it.
Okay, that's fine. You're perfectly entitled in a free democratic society to stare down the barrel of his camera and tell me you're a racist. People can judge you accordingly. Many people who have assumed that you're a racist will now have heard it from your own lips. That's fine.
There you go.
That's the point. The point of this interview is to go over the things you've said, which have led people to reach conclusions about you, and to ascertain whether those conclusions are fair and reasonable or not. That's it. So I want to play you another clip. This is what you talk about why white people are justified in being racist. Let's take a listen to this.
First, white people are every single bit justified in being racist. Every single bit justified, to the extent that that means going out of your way to avoid black people when you see them.
You stand by that?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Absolutely.
So white people should go out of their way to avoid black people when they see them.
Absolutely. They would be wise.
Why?
Because it's a lose-lose proposition. If you're Irina Zarutska and you...
You know, I find it crazy. Okay. Now, if you go to a black neighborhood, right, and you move into a project area, and people always say, hey, if you just mind your business, people leave you the fuck alone. Mind your business. When you get hit with robbery, yup. Nigga, bro, rich people get shit stolen from them all the time. Their workers do it. Their fucking family members do it. Their friends do it. They're always getting robbed. It's just not in the public eye, but they're constantly getting robbed. You hear it all the time on the media. People getting money stolen from them. Okay, white people, white people. Okay, so if you're walking down the street, right, and you go out of your way, meaning making it obvious, out of your way to avoid somebody, that's naturally causing conflict. That's right there. You're instantly saying, hey, there's going to be conflict. But if you want to be real about it, everybody should avoid white people. Be real. Let's be real about it. Let's look at history. When every major like some crazy wars recently. This is in the 19th century. Or the settlers and shit. America being built and shit. The British reign, the British Empire. Why the British took over everything. Everywhere Vikings, barbarians, the Europeans stepped was a murder. Everywhere. There was no harmony. Their culture never was harmony. Never. It was never harmony. It was always the culture was always like barbaric or Viking or conquering. America became America due to conquering. War, rape and killing. So you go to the Native Americans who literally saved you. Like, see, they saved Christopher Columbus' crew. Then you turn around and kill them. Well, years later, you turn around and kill them because you want the land and to establish a government. Plague. Then you go to South America where Hispanics do the same thing. Then you go to Africa and do it, bro. I get it. If you want to have war and shit, bro, stay in Europe. Just how the Asians stay in Asia, Japan stay in Japan, China stay in China, and shit like that. African people stay in Africa. They had little tribe wars and shit. Natives had tribes for little land, but it wasn't no global catastrophe shit. It wasn't like no genocide or no big wipes. Or in like the court, even Africa has slaves. If a tribe lost, you would enslave their people. Everybody did it. Literally every country, every culture did it. But the difference is with white people, they did it their whole culture. That's their whole culture. Unless you're like Italian or like fucking, unless you're like Italian, Polish, like that's culture. You have culture. That's a cultural background. But like American white, that shit, bro, no. Dog shit.
Don't walk the other way, you get stabbed to death and you die. If you're somebody else and you walk on the subway and you stand near a black person or something, maybe it's fine. It's a lose-lose proposition. So no, I think that white people have been beaten into submission, that we're afraid to tell the truth about it. And the truth is that when you go into these major cities like New York or Chicago, I believe she was in North Carolina, there is a menace, which is young, black, adolescent men. They're extremely violent. And we have been told that we have to pretend like they are every other person. We have to be colorblind to that. And we're supposed to go and be in the midst of all this danger. And I think that at this point, it's gotten out of control. You look at the BLM movement, they said that the reason that black people are violent, or the reason there's crime, is because of police brutality, or redlining, or all these other things. They said we need to get rid of the police. We need to defund them. And a lot of cities did. A lot of cities like Chicago, for example, the police changed the rules of engagement. They don't chase them. It's not a felony if you steal.
So I really don't support, like I understand Black Lives Matter, but I really don't support Black Lives Matter. Like I'm not on All Lives Matter either type shit. I'm not on that shit either. But like with Black Lives Matter, at first it was like, okay, yeah, we're standing for shit, yeah, police brutality, cool. Then it got to the point, people started doing some victim shit. Like, it got to the point, like, bro, it's not because you're black, it's because you're an asshole. It's not because you're black, it's because you're a bitch. It's not because you're black, it's because you're stupid. Like, so, no, they got to the point of, like, it was just doing too much. But what Nick is not understanding is the reason why Black Lives Matter got a lot of really aggressive, because when the dude died because he couldn't breathe, it's been years of police brutality. You gotta understand, bro, oppression wasn't too long ago. Like, segregation wasn't too long ago. Grandmas are still alive. Great grandmas are still alive talking about this shit. So it wasn't too long ago. Like, that generation hasn't fully died yet. So it's like, so when it comes to police brutality and they doing shit, it called PTSD, shit comes back. So they talk about it. Then instead of like white people, some white people, instead of some white people being like, damn, you know what he did was wrong. Yeah, like why is your knee on his neck? Why not on his back or his spine? Even I got fucked up too, but why not on his back or his spine? Even if he was on drugs, even if he drugged out, why can't you take a life? Like what makes it okay for you to take a life? That's the point. That's literally the point. Why is it okay for you to judge somebody to take their life? It doesn't matter if he was on drugs. It doesn't matter what George did. You're not in the judge to take somebody's life. If that's the case, then you'll be God. Then you're God. You're God. Even the Bible said the Bible literally says don't do that. So that's another reason why a lot of people get mad at white people, especially white male Christians, white male Christians, because it's like you're saying you're Christian and you love God and all that shit, but the Bible literally says don't hate, don't judge, love neighbor, love everybody, and y'all say fuck that and do what you want. Like, what? That's not weird? It's weird. That's some weird shit.
A certain amount of merchandise, they won't chase them on foot, and now the city's totally up for grabs. And now, whether you're in the Gold Coast or whether you're on the Mag Mile or you're in the worst neighborhoods in the city, you might get shot, you might get mugged, someone might run up on you. And I tell my followers, it is better to be perceived as racist or racist and walk the other way and maybe keep your life than to say, I'm a good anti-racist. I don't mind that this person's making me uncomfortable. Maybe he's looking a little froggy. I'm going to sit down because I'm a good person. and get stabbed, mugged, whatever. And by the way, this is a strategy. They call it the friendly stranger. There's a crew of them. They do this in Chicago. They stand outside bars, black people. They approach strangers. It's a robbery crew, and they pretend to be a friendly stranger, and then they mug them. And stupid white people say, oh, hi, yeah, nice to meet you. You know, they grin, they laugh, they put up with the nonsense, and then they get mugged, or worse. Sometimes they get executed. And so as a white person,
how do you feel about mass shootings at school?
I think they're bad.
Who do you think commits the vast majority of the mass shootings?
I'm sure it's
schools?
white people.
Right. So how do you feel about that?
Okay, so before we jump on this, white people do that mass shooting shit is pretty fucking insane. Now, what Nick is not telling you, and we're not telling you what he's not saying, right? He's not mentioning it. Yes, robbery and muggings happen a lot, but majority of violence on actually just black crime in general is usually gang violence and they're targeting. It's literally gang violence and they're targeting a person. Majority of other crimes white people commit are mass murders, rape, fucking mass shootings. Is always affecting everybody. Everybody's getting hit. If a black person do targeting, this person got shot and maybe a standby got shot. Somebody near in the wrong place, wrong time got hit. Oh, it's a shooting. Oh my gosh. But then it's like, then when a white person do something, damn, he raped 18 and killed 30 women? Oh my God, documentaries. Then it's, oh, Sandy Hook. That shook, bro, that shook everything. That shook the internet. You hear somebody getting mugged in Chicago or gang violence, that's not about to shake the internet. They're not shaking shit. It's just, black people. But you hear a school shooting, you know who it is. You literally know. Well, another white person. What about to say? Oh, he mentally ill. What about to say? Oh, now it's different. Now they're calling him gay. Now they're blaming the LGBT. They're blaming the alphabet. That's what they're blaming the alphabet. They did nothing wrong. What it was is a white male who wanted to be a school shooter. That's what it is. You can't just blame the leftists. You can't blame the alphabet. They ain't do nothing wrong. Either you agree with them or not.
I think that white people do more antisocial violence. I think black people participate in more gang violence. I think that's the difference.
What's the difference to the victims?
There's no difference to the victim, but it's a different kind of crime, and it's a different proportion also. Do you know what
Nigga, I'd rather take gang violence over social violence. Gang is okay, as long as I don't join a gang, I'm cool. They're not gonna target me. They don't give a fuck about me. Social is like, damn, I'm sitting on a college campus in Utah. I'm sitting on a college campus in Utah, preaching and just speaking my mind because of freedom of speech, and I get shot in the neck because of a white person, of a white male, because they didn't like what I said. Yeah, Nick is a big difference, dog. So yeah, I'd rather take gang violence.
Percentage of white people are school shooters?
I know that the vast majority of mass shootings in schools in America this century were perpetrated by young white men.
Century, bro.
And what proportion of...
A century. The century. Like, come on.
Proportion.
I'm curious.
What proportion?
I'm curious whether your advice would be to people who have kids in these schools.
Wait, is my mic working? What proportion?
Should they avoid
Finish. Cut them off. Let me finish.
white people at school? Should people with the kids at school avoid young white men at school?
No.
Okay.
Do you know what per capita means? Do you know proportionality? There are more black people proportionally that engage in violent crime or are involved in gangs, especially in these major cities, than there are white people that are school shooters. compared to the entire white population.
And Nick didn't even answer the question. He didn't even answer it. Morgan's saying like, okay, based off what you're saying, you're saying okay, you're in the streets and shit. If you're a white person in the streets and you see a minority or a brown person, black person, think racist, go the opposite way. Okay, because we got more gang violence in the streets. We got more violent crimes in streets. Okay, now let's go to the school. Let's go to the school. Go to the school. Okay, now we're in school. Should white people avoid other white people because of school shooting? Y'all leading that. So should a white person avoid white people because of that shit? Okay, you saw how dumb that sounds? All right. Niggas sound retarded.
And everybody understands that.
Two-thirds of mass shootings at school perpetrated by white people.
But what proportion of white men commit school shootings? That's the question.
I've just told you. It's 60 to 65% of school shootings by white people.
You're telling me what proportion of school shootings are committed by white people. I'm saying what proportion of white people have committed school shootings. Are you playing dumb or are you just not that smart?
What difference does that make to the children lying dead on the ground?
What's the difference?
See, now you want to jump on the victims. The difference is you're asking, would you fear white people or black people? And that's the difference. The difference is
what I'm saying to you is by your logic,
the school setting.
If we now have agreed that the vast majority of mass shootings in schools are committed by white people and predominantly young white men, then presumably your advice would be to avoid young white men
in school
because they perpetrate these massacres. But it won't be because they're white, right?
So are you playing dumb or are you actually dumb?
Maybe
it's
I'm
about
dumb.
proportionality.
Maybe I'm dumb.
You are because you're, well, I don't think you are dumb. I think you're smart, actually.
Like Nick got put back in another corner. Nick got put in a corner. I don't know why you think Nick beating Morgan in this situation. Morgan is sometimes saying some dumb shit, but not in this situation. No, Morgan not this situation.
But you're deliberately avoiding per capita, and everybody knows that's the difference.
In this situation, you cannot use per capita. We're talking about a school setting. In school. If majority of you think you go in school, you think a shooting gonna happen, is 2/3 of the time it's gonna be 2/3. I don't give a fuck. It's gonna be a white person. So should you avoid a white person in school? Same way Nikki's saying avoid black people in the streets. Gang violence.
What proportion of white men are school shooters? It's probably 0.00001%. What proportion of black men have committed violent crimes? It's probably like 5%. I don't know what it is off the top of my head, but it's very high. And I would add to that, even as it concerns schools.
I don't know what it is.
Why do you think parents?
I don't know what it is at the top of my head, but it's high.
Pay a super high property tax to live in a school district where there's white people because they know that if they go to the black school, it's going to be the Bloods and the Crips. It's going to be gangs. It's going to be, you talk about.
Nope. They don't pay high money or high price home just to live by white people. They don't go to real estate unless you're racist. They don't go to real estate agents or core agents and say, hey, I want to live by white people. They say, I want to live in a nice area. I want to live in a richer area. It can be controlled by white people. It can be controlled by agents. It can be controlled by Hispanics. Anybody, black. Anybody. There's a lot of wealthy black neighborhoods. There's a lot of them. So they're not going asking for white. It's just that white people have dominated the higher tax bracket. They're dominated. Also Asians too. But y'all dominated.
School shootings. Nobody talks about all the school shootings that are committed by gangbangers in and around the school and all the other violence that's associated.
Because it's not a mass shooting. It's a shooting. It's not a mass shooting. And with that, it's still gang violence. It's targeting. It's not going in there and spraying everybody up. It's targeting a person or a group of people.
With that, I mean, these schools in the south side of Chicago, it's just not.
I have an answer for you, Nick. So the proportion of the population who carry out mass shootings is actually the same. The black and white.
For white people, the proportion of no.
The proportion
Again,
of the
are
population.
you hearing it? No.
So you see,
What's
I
the
think the trouble with your
proportion?
statistics is a lot of them don't bear much scrutiny. We have a bunch of fact checkers checking all this in real time.
You have to.
Because you do have a tendency to just come out with a lot of old baloney. And when you say,
You're saying shit.
Okay.
well, it's true.
He is saying shit.
And when you're confronted
What-
with,
but you're-
when you're
wait,
confronted
what's
with
the
reality,
figure?
Because it's like, bro, cause Morgan's right. Hey, bro, niggas should be saying shit. It's like, bro, oh yeah, black people want to go to the top neighborhoods. They want to move because white people are there. No. We just say, oh, white people neighborhood. It's a joke or a slang. No, we're not going there for white people. No. To be honest, we will move in a richer neighborhood and avoid white people. Literally what we would do. We will move in a richer neighborhood and avoid white people in that neighborhood. Then we'd be happy to see we'd be happy to see another black person in the neighborhood. Then we'd be like, okay, kind of happy if we see another minority group because we can't really relate to them. But hey, it's another minority group. That's what it is. Not, oh yeah, wow, I'm surrounded by white people. Yeah. No, trust me, no black person saying that. Not the one, unless you're just Uncle Ruckus or some shit. Not the one that's doing that.
so you don't like it.
What's the figure? What proportion of white people have committed school shootings?
For-
With white people as the denominator and white people that have committed school shootings as the numerator, what's that percentage?
For both black and whites, the proportion of the population who carry out mass shootings generally is about the same.
No.
And yet-
Tell me the
and yet-
number, and
and
then
yet, And yet,
Okay.
the only focus of your attention
Per capita.
is the black shootings, the black crime. You don't want to live around black people. You want to avoid black people. You don't want interracial marriages or relationships that may produce black.
Like nigga just straight up racist. When it comes to black people, he just straight up racist. That's literally just what it is. He's straight up racist. Because it's like, bro, like what do you mean? Like you keep saying black people. If white people commit more of this, you even said it, social crimes in school, which is mass shootings, and they're just spraying people. They're just spraying anybody. They're spraying. And black people only do it to gangs. It's only criminals fighting criminals, not criminals fighting the innocent. So why aren't you like you still tell people to avoid blacks in a school setting? Crazy. That's some crazy work.
People. And yet, when I point out to you that there are many parts of crime in America where actually there's a majority of white people that perpetrate them, you don't care. You don't have any interest in that. It doesn't exercise your mind. Maybe because
no one's buying this. This
kids.
argument lost. No one is buying this. Everybody understands.
Nick is deflecting. So he's just saying nobody buying this. Like, bro, what Morgan said was right. You're ignoring it. He was like, nobody buying this. Like, bro, you're deflecting.
Stands per capita, and people could even see what you race ahead and say, well, we're comparing the proportion of white and black school shooters. I said, no, compare the proportion of school shooters that are white versus violent criminals that are black, because that was the basis of the monologue.
You can't do that. You cannot do that. That's two completely different settings. If you're talking about white people that are school shooters, well, yeah, because not everybody's in school. Not the whole world, not in school. School is school. Do you not compare it to black crime in general? But you can't compare them to. You only compare black school shooters to white school shooters. Black crime to white crime. You can't intercross that.
Very likely, if you encounter black people or a young black man in the city, that you're going to be the victim of a violent crime, of a robbery, a mugging, a car theft, a carjacking, or a murder. That's the difference, and it's about proportionality. And everybody sees past that because we all live in reality. You want to talk about product of your environment. People that live in New York, Chicago, LA, we live in reality. We live in this environment, and we see what it's like. And the threat, the danger in terms of probability it's not even comparable. And I would say this to your point. if you're in a high school and truly, if you see a white person who looks like a little autistic, he's got the SSRI stare and he reaches for a backpack, people joke and say, run. Similarly, if you see a jalopy pulling up with a bunch of black people in it and they got their pants around the ankles, you're going to run also. And I'm saying the same thing. The difference is the latter happens much more often. It's much more common. You know, in Chicago, there's like 10,000 carjackings and car thefts every day. It's
the way he's talking, bro. He talking about Chicago and New York, the only two cities in. I give him L.A. The only three cities in the United States with a high black population rate. Out in New York, I don't think it's even that high.
in the thousands. It happens all the time. How many mass shootings committed by autistic SSRI white people? I don't even
see. And why they gotta be autistic? Just say white male Christians or just white males. Don't say autistic.
No, I mean, it's probably in the single digits in the last decade in this city. That's the difference, and everybody knows that. But you're really just trying to carry water for liberal ideology. It's an ideological position.
No, I'm really not. I can absolutely say, yes, there is way too much black on black crime, for example, involving guns in Chicago.
And black on white also.
Yes, but there is way too much gun violence in Chicago. Right? I mean, it's indisputable. I've got no problem saying that. The difference is I don't then lead myself into a thought process where I have to avoid all black people in case they shoot me. And you've already conceded that you are a racist. So when people hear you then say, I don't want to be living anywhere near black people, they already have heard you say, I'm a racist. So they assume you're doing that because of people's skin color. I don't think you would probably dispute that, right?
Well, you're separating two different things. The monologue when I said I don't want to live around black people, that was after Irina Zarutska got shot. And it's true. I mean, they are largely in this city, in Chicago, the south side, the west side.
Bro, it's yes or no. Nigga, it's racist. Like, it's not two different things. You literally saying I'm a racist. Okay. I don't want to live around black people. It doesn't matter when you start saying that. It doesn't matter why you start saying it. It's okay, well, you said it. Yeah, you're racist. Yeah. So whenever you say, hey, something bad about black people, it's just, because you're racist. You're just a racist asshole. That's what you're just racist. That's what it is, you're racist.
Huge criminal population, and I don't want to live anywhere near it. And I do. I want to live in a white neighborhood. I think that that's extremely desirable, and I think even black people do.
Nick, you're perfectly entitled to that view. But when you...
Hey, to be honest with you, Charlie Kirk said the same thing. He was in an all-white area with white snow. That snow went red real quick. He said the same thing. But you want a black person to feel bad, right? Hey, maybe you live with us. That wouldn't happen. You had other shooters with you. Oops.
I've obviously prefaced all this by saying I am a racist, unashamedly, then people will assume that all your thought processes about all of these issues are driven by an aversion to people based on their skin color, which is the purest personification of racism.
Yes.
Well, it's not an aversion. I would say it's the opposite. I like my own people. My own people are familiar to me, and I think that's true across the board. I think that people seek out other people that are like themselves, and every other group does this, whether it's blacks, Hispanics, Asians. You know, I get a lot of attacks when I talk about that I'm against interracial marriage. And what's funny is that every other group is against interracial or interethnic marriage.
Whoa, that's different. That's completely different. Ethnical, we say ethnical. Ethnicity is different. Ethical is different. That's like a religion situation. That's like a religion culture situation. But just not married due to your skin color, that's racist. That's racist. There's a complete difference.
But you're the product of an interracial marriage.
He's the product.
Yeah, that's debatable.
Not really.
For the sake of argument, sure.
No, you're the product of an interracial marriage. And your father is part Mexican. You're literally,
for the sake of argument,
the very person you've just told me
bro,
you want to avoid.
So racist. What do you mean for the sake of an argument? Say sure. What you mean for the sake of an argument, nigga? What do you mean? Oh, you're Mexican. You're a Mexican. Okay. What do you mean? What are you talking about? Like bro, come on.
Wait.
What?
What race is Hispanic? Is that a race?
Well, what do you think it is?
I'm asking you. What race is Hispanic?
Hispanic. Of course, it's a race. It's called Hispanic.
It's a mix between two races. It's a mix between indigenous Americans
It's not
and
white,
Europeans.
though, is it? It's not white.
Well, you're apparently you're more of a racial purist than me. You got like
Not
a
really.
one-drop
You just
rule
keep
thing
saying you
going.
only want to live
Kind
in a
of.
white neighborhood,
Yeah,
but
you're
you're
not even
literally
white.
from a mixed race background yourself.
Yeah, you
You've
mutt.
literally
Yeah, and I
got
live in a-
Mexican
Now
blood.
you're mutt.
I know, and I live in a non-white neighborhood too. I'm trying to get out of here though, but I'm
Right.
trying to get out. But here's
See, that's what I'm saying. Same thing with black people. Same way, like fucking Myron Gaines. Bro, you're black. You black, you gorilla. You monkey, you're black. Well, I don't like black people. I live by black people. Cool. Well, black people this, black women this, black people. Cool. Nigga, you're still a monkey. Like, bro, like, you just like me. The exact same. So you crying. So you're over there, and you're over there dancing in your suit, in your jungle suit. You're dancing and shit in front of white people, getting their applause. They're clapping for you, oh jolly good show. They're applauding you and shit. Then as soon as you need them, they'll be like, nah, nigga. They'll put a freezer on you. Nah, you ape. I'm not help you. You ape, you monkey. You don't care. Yeah, bro. Nick doing the same shit. He's a mutt. Nigga, you're a Met, bro. You're Mexican. You're mixed. Yup. You're absolutely racist. Yup. Now he would be like, oh, well, I don't want to live like blacks. I want to live by blacks. I want to live by none of them. Okay. Well, all minorities are brown people. Bro, you're not white. You're white. You're pale enough to look white. But in reality, by that DNA, you ain't white. You're Hispanic.
the thing.
Do you have any non-white friends? Genuine question.
Most of my friends are non-white. Most of my friends are not, and non-white people love my show because they respect
black?
the honesty.
How many of your friends are black?
Many of them, like at least a dozen.
Wow.
Ye being one
Yeah.
who you know, Sneeko being another who you also know.
Yeah. So how do they feel when you say you just want to be away from any black people, walk away from them?
Well, you know what Ye told me? I'll tell you verbatim what he said. That it doesn't come from a place of, and you use the word aversion. That's the first thing I'll actually dispute.
Okay.
It's not an aversion on the basis of skin color, because that would seem to suggest it's like a stubborn, irrational bigotry. I don't consider myself a bigot. I consider myself a racial realist. I'm realistic about how the races are, and I speak provocatively about it. And I speak provocatively about our tribalistic instincts and tendencies as human beings. And I'm not a liberal ideologue that says that over time and with enough education, we're all going to see this great brotherhood where we're colorblind and everybody's the same. You know, I don't think that's ever going away. I think that race is real. It's not just skin deep. It matters to us and it matters to each other. And black people know that, and Hispanics know that, and Asians know that. And people like me that have partial Mexican ancestry, we know that too. And I think on that basis, we can have mutual respect and understanding, not aversion based on skin color.
The reason
as you
I
say.
use the word aversion is you literally said that you should walk the other way if you see black people. That is an aversion to black people based on their skin color.
No, that's called economy of information. That's economy of information. That's safety. And I feel, I said in the same monologue, if you watch it, it's like, I feel sorry. The problem is you clip the 10 seconds. I don't know if you watched the whole show, but in that monologue, I said, most black people are not violent or criminals. I said, and it's unfortunate that we're going to offend them when we turn and walk the other way. I said, but the problem is we don't know. We can't tell. And someone like Irina Zarutska, she sat down in front of a black man with her headphones in and wasn't paying attention because she was being a good liberal and said, I'm not uncomfortable by this. I'm progressive. Then she got stabbed in the neck. And I said, it's unfortunate that you would have to sit behind the black man to be safe. And if he's not violent or schizophrenic, he might be offended by that. I said, but I would rather offend him.
So I wonder was he think I wonder what he thinking the same thing when the moms and the dads send their kids off to school to learn, to get a phone call or see the news saying their kid is not alive anymore by a white male. I wonder what the kids were thinking being in school or the kids in the classroom and they see their classmate pull out a gun. You can't sit behind them. You can't stop them. They just start loading people up. I wonder how they felt.
How many deranged white men have committed atrocious acts of murder in the last 10 years in America?
Proportionally far fewer.
But how many?
Fewer.
How many? Do you know how many?
All right, yo. Well, that's my clip for the racism with the blacks in the situation. I do a part 2. See ya.